and labor component, right? Asking them for some of their credentials, right? Yeah. Okay, let's go back to creating a member here. So I'm just going to use a name here. So we're going to pick a community. We're going to save that. So we've entered the person's name. We've entered your community, right? You save. The title is Mrs. Whatever the number is for membership. You don't. These are not mandatory, right? So anything without the asterisk is not mandatory. But for assets, that's something we need here, though. The SIN number, okay, that is required. Gender, marital status, married, no disability, not on social services. Just going to add a phone number. It's a cell number. I'm just going to add an address here. Postal code, select type. This is work address. I don't know what this remote zone, if it would apply to you guys, but doesn't need to be filled in. Again, the community information, any file number associated with the individual. There's another spot that we have for your organization's perspective, right? Aboriginal language only. Number of dependents, 6. The community of origin, let's say Edmonton. So even though they're living in the nation now, they might have been born in Edmonton. You can add their treaty number if you wish. You say they have Class B license. They have their own transportation. We're going to give them a credential here.
Sitting in the office and doing a computer, reading a book, and it seemed, oh, this is great. This is a family home. There's a family to do it.
I see you got the resume and hiring qualifications here. You know, whether they need tools or work boots. And we're just going to save and validate this to, well, it won't validate to assets because we don't have a social insurance number. So we have a way to create fake social insurance numbers, right?
Not really pressuring me, but everything's fine. It's like it's turnkey. That's turnkey. That's the inspector kept on saying. It was just this perfect home, and there really wouldn't be anything for us to do when we moved in. Must be needed. I knew that the home was some kind of as an extension.
And it has to be a valid SIN number, otherwise it won't go in. So you can't just put random numbers in there. So that fake generator site that you saw is where it allows us to use just fake IDs. So now I said save and validate the assets. The message comes up as validated for assets. So that means I can move on. So now we're moving correctly. So now we create the action plan for Sandra. Select an option, grade 9, select a province, Ontario, EI claimant, automatically generates the number, starts today. Child care funded, no funding received. Select an option, no. Social insurance, no. Barriers to employment. So to create an action plan is about just takes you just a couple of minutes. And now we're just going to add the intervention, employment counseling, start date 14th day, end date 28th. Let's put in-house service, save the information. The intervention is created. So by the time I finished adding the data on the particular individual, right down to the intervention, and now the person is in here. Now I want to give the person a little bit of a sign-off sheet. So you'll notice what I did here is that there says updated action plan. Okay. We're going to print. Okay. I'm going to go to the desktop here and just save the action plan for Sandra. I'll just go over here, just going to open this. This is something I would print off. And there it says like the action plan, the commitment. So by the time the client walks in, you walk through that process with them. To get them entered into the system, you're talking about 5 minutes, right? Now, but you want to spend a little bit more time with them because you've got them entered, that's one thing, which now we're complying with the ASETS program. But from a member perspective, what we want to do is we want to maybe follow up with them, right? So this is where we would create this business and labor. Now we got the member created. Now we can go back and start filling in some of these other blanks. So, education, general ticket information, employment status. So this is where you would start asking all that information, right? The work history, last employer, reason for leaving, the income source. So, and I think, going forward, this is what you want to do with all your current members or your current clients. Does that seem pretty simple?
It's kind of interesting when a chapter is closed, you don't even see the top. It's just a hole.
It'll take a couple, once you try it a couple of times and you're still not feeling comfortable, that's what we're here for. Just give us a call or reach out to us and, we'll walk you through it as many times as we need to, right?
I know I have for like the last day to fill out that area.
Mm-hmm.
There's certain areas that they have to fill out, but I guess there's other areas that
aren't required. Yeah. What we suggest to you is don't take any shortcuts. All the information you can gather is going to be very helpful for the nation in the future, right? So all the information we got in there is based on several years of we saw what ASETS wanted from before. So when you guys were on the keto system, there was a lot of information on there that you did need to gather. So right now, this system is probably, I'd say 1/3 to almost half less requirements than what keto was. Because the government is saying we don't need all this information. What we're saying though is that, okay, well, let's hive out the stuff that ASET wants, and then what does the community need, right? So a lot of the information that you have doesn't get uploaded to the government. But for your internal purposes, you have all that information so that you can utilize it when you need it. Any other questions?
Yeah, Michelle has one.
Hey there.
Hey, I was just wondering about your action plan portion that you print out.
Yeah.
Have to have like a release consent.
That's what this is, right? So the action plan, I will inform the officer, I am committed, I agree, I agree to allow, WIFN to use my educational work profile. So there's a little bit of that up at the front, and then the commitment from them, and then the sponsorship piece, right? And all the details that associated with that individual, right? So the first part of the consent is, I think, here, right? And it's also a consent commitment, right? Has a dual purpose, right?